With Ohio State now completing their 2021 spring practice with their game being yesterday, I imagine the coaches have a better idea of what way they are leaning as far as who's going to be the starting quarterback. But with that said, there still has not been a starter named. The competition will continue, but each quarterback did several good things yesterday, which we will talk about and highlight. So we're going to watch the highlights of kind of each quarterback on this film, and then at the end of the highlights, we will kind of talk about the game, what we saw, what we liked. But before you watch the highlights, I just want to encourage you to consider subscribing to this channel if you like any quarterback related content, whether it's quarterback breakdowns, quarterback highlights like we'll see here. This isn't really going to be a breakdown, it's going to be more highlights, or how we screen and assess quarterbacks in the weight room, how that transfers to the field. Please consider giving this a subscription. If you like the video, like it, comment below, we'll interact. Okay, enough of that. Before we dive into the actual highlights of this, I also want to encourage y'all, if y'all want a more in-detailed look at the actual competition, we made a quarterback competition video where we broke down each guy a little more individualized a few weeks back. I'll link that below if you want to check it out, because again, this is just more highlights from the spring game, and we'll recap it. So enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and dive into the actual highlights. We'll start with CJ Stroud first, then go Kyle McCord, and then we will go Jack Miller as well, and then we'll kind of come back and wrap this up. So again, just a few quick highlights from each guy, and I know we had a lot of C.J. Stroud highlights. But that's because there's a lot of good things from C.J. Stroud, but each guy demonstrated some good things and what they bring to the table. I think the biggest takeaway from Ohio State fans is, regardless who wins the quarterback position, they are set at the wide receiver position. I mean, you got 5 or 6 guys who could easily be their number 1, number 2 receiver. I mean, they're just loaded. So we saw several amazing catches from the true freshman to Olave yesterday to Garrett Wilson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, there's several other guys I didn't even mention that could be number 1 receivers at most any program in the nation. So that is a huge positive when you have a new quarterback where you have this probably the best wide receiver group in the nation. And so that's going to be huge for them. As far as the quarterbacks goes, C.J. Stroud was 16 of 22 for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. Take that for what it's worth. It's spring game stats. But still, he looked efficient. He looked in control, and he just looked like he had a good understanding of the offense. Kyle McCord was 12 of 17, a buck 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You saw his big-time arm in his first play, and you saw his ability to kind of just really put some zip on the ball and push it downfield. That was encouraging to see. Then, of course, Jack Miller, 17 of 30, did have the interception and a few kind of off-target throws, but he started off the game and had a very good first drive, leading them down the field. And then after that interception on that first drive, he kind of had some up and down moments, but again showed that he is able to push the ball downfield as well. As far as the running game goes for each quarterback, there's a real quick whistle, so there wasn't really much to see as far as the mobility of each guy, but we know C.J. Stroud is a good athlete. We know Jack Miller is a good athlete, can run, and Kyle McCord has good enough mobility where he can get away when he needs to and buy time in the pocket if the play calls or if there's pressure in his face. So again, each guy showed good things. I think C.J. Stroud right off the bat in his first drive took a hit or a spring ball hit, right? Someone was in his face, delivered a good ball. Then you saw him push it downfield where was it Garrett Wilson? I forget. Chris Olave, I believe, was the receiver who made that spectacular catch. And then few more plays, he's able to finish the drive with a touchdown. We also saw Kyle McCord have several touchdown drives where he led his guys down. And then Jack Miller, if you take away that interception, that's at least a field goal. You saw him have another drive that led to a field goal. So I think Ohio State's in great hands again, regardless who wins. If it's up to me, I think C.J. Stroud is probably leading the pack right now. He just looked in control and efficient yesterday. Every guy had some type of control with the offense, but I thought C.J. Stroud was just comfortable and the offense was really smooth and rolling. He was there. Again, it's a spring game. Take it for what it's worth. But I'm probably leaning towards C.J. Stroud, and that's probably what, as far as what I've been reading, a lot of people are probably leaning that way too. But again, great options at quarterback. One of the most deepest quarterback rooms in the nation, as well as the wide receiver room, which we just talked about. So they are in good hands. Again, C.J. Stroud, Jack Miller, and Kyle McCord all did good things yesterday. If I had to pick one now, I'm leaning towards C.J. Stroud. But again, whoever wins this competition is in good hands and is going to be able to, I think, lead Ohio State to a very good season. So that's it. Again, if you liked the highlights, please consider checking out our breakdown video. That is just highlight clips from each guy, but we went into more individual detailed over each guy and what they do well. Again, this is just a highlight tape. So if you want the actual breakdown, I'll link it below, and we will see you next time.